Boys and girls, good evening and welcome to tonight's Anthem 2019 Heroes of Hillingdon performance.
Tonight we investigate the question, what makes a hero? Searching the borough for examples of heroes past and present, hoping to inspire the heroes of the future. Hayes Park School will be reading Hunting for Heroes in Hillingdon.
Is a hero someone who's invincible? Or someone who never gets scared? Does a hero ever get anything wrong? Or do they always come prepared?
Is a hero best at everything?
Do they ever make mistakes?
Are they naturally better than everyone else? Can they fix anything that breaks?
We are out hunting for heroes to find out what they all do. So maybe when we grow up, we can be heroes too.
Our journey is split into chapters. The first being Heroes of Compassion, individuals in Hillingdon who work to improve the quality of life for people in the borough. Edward Pratt campaigned to bring clean water to Uxbridge. Nicola Minnie from the Library Archives will be telling us a bit about him.
Edward Pratt was an iron founder and also a proprietor of the Albert Iron Works, established in 1862. Edward died on the 15th of March 1898, and following his passing, the townspeople came together and agreed that a memorial needed to be built in his honour, as his hard engineering work meant there was a constant supply of water into Uxbridge. Edward Pratt, he's not a very well-known name, but he's very important to the history of Uxbridge. It's because of Edward Pratt that Uxbridge had its first supply of clean water in the area. So the sewers were put in the day he died, so in 1901, so he never got to see the achievements that all of his hard work sort of produced. But obviously the town of Uxbridge benefited from it quite a lot. So he was doing a lot of his good work in the late 1800s. In 1901 there was a fountain erected in his honour outside the old bank house on Uxbridge High Street. Later in 1972 it was actually moved to the churchyard in St Margaret's, which is now at the end of Windsor Street. Yeah, it's free for the public to go into, they can have a look around, and it's a really lovely churchyard as well, so it's worth a visit.
So this is the Hillingdon Heroes Hall of Fame, where you'll find all the heroes we'll be singing about tonight. And this is the fountain erected in honour of Edward Pratt. Now we have Whiteheath Junior School, who are singing a song about Edward Pratt called This Is Our River. Round of applause for Whiteheath, please.
In our town
now pay homage to the monks of Harmons Birth. The conflict between Henry VIII and the Roman Catholic Church eventually led to the dissolution of the monasteries. Over 800 monasteries were dissolved, demolished, sold off, or reclaimed. After losing much of their resources, the Harmonsworth monks continued to look after the community and feed the poor. Whiteheath Junior School are now joined by John Locke Academy to sing a song about the monks of Harmonsworth, and the song's called Reap What You Sow. In the 17th century, Lady Alice, Countess of Derby, gave all the tolls from the markets to the poor in the area. She was taken to court by the tradespeople to stop this practice twice, and she won both court cases. She is buried at St Mary the Virgin Church in Harefield. John Locke Academy will now sing Lady Alice, Countess of Derby, in her honour.
Given up to the Countess of Derby.
We now move on to Chapter 2, Heroes of the Industrial Revolution. This period of time transformed the UK and Hillingdon, bringing new challenges as well as change. From 1800 to 1850, a plate glass mill, a gas works, parchment works, as well as multiple oil mills, mustard mills and iron works were all erected. This development required more people to work. By the end of this period, yards, cramped living spaces housing workers and their families, were common. Uxbridge Library volunteer George Dudley and library archivist Nicola Minnie speak to us now about the living conditions in the yards and how William Ranger's medical reports helped to improve the conditions.
The yards existed because you had businesses that needed employees, and employees needed to be able to travel there and back, so they lived locally. The yards provided the veins and arteries of the town, and there was more going on behind the shops than there was in front of the shops. So it also provided accommodation, dwelling houses for workers. Sanitation was bad. That was the biggest issue. And as you can see from that there, that is what the council provided for a great number of houses. Those three, what they called privies in those days. So they were all that was provided. Atwell's Yard, which is still there, you can go there now, you've got cobblestones and you've got beams, but there's only about 15 feet of it.
The main supply for water in Uxbridge was wells. They were quite shallow. There was a lot of industry going on in the area, so all the water that was going in was very contaminated. And there was a report done by William Ranger in 1849 that sort of charted the health of the people in Uxbridge. And there was a massive outbreak of cholera in the area, so it was quite important that fresh water started coming into the town, otherwise people were going to be getting very sick indeed. Ranger's report found that outbreaks of cholera were mainly located in Paradise Row, George Street, Common Road and Morton's Yard. Ranger's report was also one of the first of its kind in Uxbridge that looked into the overcrowding problems of the lower classes and how such living conditions led to high infant mortality rates.
Can we please welcome Uxbridge High School, who will now sing a song called Paradise Row.
Leaders
Isambard Kingdom Brunel was another hero of the Industrial Revolution. A mechanical and civil engineer who is considered to have changed the face of the English landscape with his groundbreaking designs and ingenious constructions. Brunel built dockyards, the Great Western Railway, a series of steamships, and numerous bridges and tunnels. His designs revolutionised public transport and modern engineering. The university we sit in now is named after him. Please give a hand to Frithwood School, who will now sing a song called Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
With your big sing-up
We now look at two heroes that took different approaches to enable society to progress. The first of these are the suffragettes and the suffragists of Hillingdon. Nicola Minnie is going to talk to us now about the Hillingdon citizens who campaigned to get women the vote.
So 2018 was significant because it was 100 years since women over the age of 30 achieved the right to vote. So women over the age of 30 achieved the vote in 1918, and then in 1928 everyone over the age of 21 was able to vote in the People's Representation Act. So the NUWSS had a bike pilgrimage all across the country, so it started in places like Manchester and Birmingham, and it came all the way through to Hyde Park in London. And they stopped off along the way at different sort of villages and towns, and Uxbridge was one of the last stops before London. So in one of our local newspapers, there's the suffragette pilgrims, so as they came through the town, that was them on their bicycles. So Catherine Anne Rennie was associated with the NUWSS, which was the less militant of the suffragette groups. She lived at 8 Park Road in Uxbridge, which was actually next door neighbour to the headquarters of the local NUWSS headquarters. She was a very prominent member of both of the group in the area, as well as the Anti-Tax League as well, which she was quite an active member of. Catherine refused to pay her taxes because she felt that if you couldn't vote, you shouldn't have to pay them. So the local government brought a case against her where they auctioned off a lot of her property to pay her unpaid taxes, and a lot of her friends and fellow suffragettes banded together and bought a lot of her property back for her. Clara Gimming lived at Winchester Lodge, County Mill Road, Uxbridge. So Clara was an active member of the suffragette group, WSPU, and was a very active member of the Uxbridge group as well. She was a lot more militant in her actions. She teamed up with Kitty Marion, and together they burnt down a grandstand up north. They also went to prison in Holloway and underwent force feeding, where they lost a lot of weight, and it was very sort of a terrible thing that they went through. Alongside people like Lillian Hicklin and Olive Worry as well.
Lake Farm Park and Harlyn Primary will now sing a song about the suffragettes called Votes for Women. Round of applause for these guys, please.
Paving
Sir Alexander Fleming took a very different approach to aiding the progression of society. He conducted scientific research. Fleming was a biologist, physician, microbiologist, and pharmacologist. His breakthrough discovery of penicillin, the world's first ever antibiotic, transformed the world of medicine. Alexander Fleming conducted his work for a long time at Harefield Hospital, just up the road. Harlyn Primary will now sing a song about him, and that song is aptly titled Sir Alexander Fleming. Brilliant, thanks so much. So far we've seen scientific breakthroughs, feats of engineering, charity work and campaigning in our search for heroes. We now look to the arts. Heroes of the arts evoke emotions, tell stories and enrich our lives. We begin this section with theatre producer and performing harlequin John Rich. He is known as the father of the British pantomime. Here we have Hillingdon's own pantomime dame, Dame Trot, telling us a bit about him.
Hello, everybody. I said hello, everybody. That's the ticket. Now, my name is Dame Trot, and I'm performing here in Jack and the Beanstalk at the Compass Theatre this Christmas. Oh, but we're not here to talk about me, are we? No, we're here to talk about my very good friend, John Rich. Oh, he was a wonderful man. Now, John and I go back way back, all the way to the 1700s. I know, I don't look a day over 20. Watch it, you. Now, John was known as the father of British pantomime. Oh, he was marvellous. He performed as a character known as a harlequin, but he had his own special name. And, what was his name? Oh, I'm terrible with names. A bit like our John. Now, what was it? Check. Oh, I remember. It was Lun. And he wore these fantastical, colourful costumes. A bit like mine, only not a dress. And he had a very, very special show called Catching a Butterfly that he performed in Covent Garden in London. Now get this. He would pretend to be an egg that would hatch by the heat of the sun, and crowds gathered from midday right through to the evening just to watch our John. And he could make people laugh and cry without saying a word. Unlike me, I could talk till the cows come home. Cows! Oh, but now, not everyone liked our John. No, the serious producers of theatre, they couldn't abide him. They thought he was silly. But I thought he was marvellous. He had illusions, live animals, he even fired a real cannon. Imagine that coming at you. Duck! But now John's passed on. And it wasn't after he died that people realised how much of an influence he was on British pantomime. He's buried here in Hillingdon at St John the Baptist Church. So, if you fancy saying hello, pop along and look for one of the biggest tombstones there. Now I better get on. I've got cows to milk. Goodbye, everyone.
Hayes Park School are here now to sing a song about John Rich called Father of the Pantomime. Round of applause for Hayes Park.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, allow me to introduce to you the father of the pantomime. The father of the pantomime, a most unusual man. He's made a fortune staging plays, adored across the land. Special effects and magic tricks, then it came all the rage. He even fired a cannon on the stage. That's not very safe. An artist of great spectacle to startle and bewitch. And this person's name was John Rich. Rich performed as Harley Quinn, and none before had seen a dancing man with magic wands in yellow, red and green. He told stories with his face and with his arms and legs. Once he even hatched out of an egg. You must be joking. Although his shows were criticised as quite over the top, it must have been an interesting job. His father died and he left behind a new unopened stage. For nearly 50 years he followed the path his father made. He's behind you! Have a Travelling shows from Italy, the mask and mummers play. Many great traditions in the show we see today. But don't forget our Harlequin, our theatre maverick. Every year we still laugh at his tricks. Oh no, we don't. Oh yes, we do. So cheer on the great hero, and boo and hiss the witch. But be sure you
Okay, we're going to introduce, we've got the Hillingdon Music Hub Jazz Band Rock Band Edition coming through now, because most of you probably know that Ronnie Wood of the Rolling Stones fame and of the Faces fame grew up in Useley. And we couldn't resist doing a song about him, basically. So Hayes Park School are going to do a song called Ronnie Wood, The Rock and Roll World Salutes You. So can we have another massive round of applause for Hayes Park School? Okay. For our final chapter this evening, we look at a time of crisis in our history to find heroes. This year, September the 1st, will mark 100 years since the outbreak of World War II. Now, as you probably know, the Battle of Britain Bunker is situated here in Hillingdon, and it was one of the key parts of Britain's World War II strategy part of the world's integrated air defence system. A series of rooms 18 metres underground, 76 steps below the surface, was constructed in just 6 months between February and August 1939. Hillingdon Music Hub's young singers will now sing a song about those that built the bunker, accompanied by a video of taking those 76 steps way down below. Round of applause for young singers. In the Battle of Britain, the Royal Air Force defended the United Kingdom against a large-scale attacks by Nazi Germany's Air Force. Historian Stephen Bungay cited Germany's failure to destroy Britain's air defences as the first major German defeat in World War II, and a crucial turning point in the conflict. Field End Primary now join the young singers to sing the Battle of Britain. So a round of applause for all of them, please.
The enemy was cunning, the enemy had minds and plans to
the battle was over. Without the help from the Allies, especially the skillful Polish Air Force, victory would have been impossible. At last, Britain had control of the skies. The Battle of Britain Bunker's military history curator, talks to us now about what it was like living in Hillingdon at this time, on location at the Battle of Britain Bunker.
On the 3rd of September 1939, Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain came on BBC Radio at 11:15 a.m. and announced that Britain had declared war with Germany after the invasion of Poland by the Germans on the 1st of September 1939. So a lot of families initially will have received guidance from the government, so suggestions that actually they should start stockpiling food. Although rationing didn't come until January 1940, a lot of people did start doing this. Petrol was rationed almost instantly. It was controlled by the government, so people were stockpiling that as well. People were also making sure that there were arrangements in the house, that they had a safe place to go, protect themselves, their families. Anderson shelters, the first one was built in February 1939, so marking the 80th anniversary this year. They were prefabricated air raid or bomb shelters, and they were made with 6 panels or sheets of corrugated steel or iron, and created in a curved shape, which is very iconic when you see images of them. They were sunken shelters, usually in a garden or some kind of allotment space for families, and they were sunk about 3 feet into the ground, and then they were heaped over with earth, usually about 15 inches. And this supposedly was able to withstand at least some of the aftershock of a bomb if it hit close by. They were also placed a decent amount of way from a building, just in case that collapsed, and they wouldn't collapse on the shelter. For low-income families, for those that would have been earning, say, under £5 a week, the government provided them for them. But if it was a family that was earning enough money, they could purchase one from the government for £7. And 1.5 million shelters were distributed by the time 1940 came around. So it was a significant number to offer that protection, that local protection for families, especially if they couldn't get to the underground or another space that was safe.
Families built their own Anderson shelters in the run-up to World War II, protecting their loved ones from harm. Field End Primary perform a song for all of these families, these heroes at home, called Glow Under Tin Roof. A round of applause for Field End, please.
I love Hill Lane.
brings us almost to the end of our concert. Let's see if we've answered the question. What makes a hero?
Is a hero someone who's invincible? Or someone who never gets scared? Does a hero ever get anything wrong? Or do they always come prepared? Is a hero best at everything? Do they ever make mistakes? Are they naturally better than everyone else? Can they fix anything that breaks?
We are out hunting for heroes to find out what they all do. So maybe when we grow up, we can be heroes too.
Some go directly to aid those in need. Others campaign for the cause. Some do research on the best way to help. Some risk their lives in wars. Some heroes stick up for the people in need. Or build shelters for us just in case. Some make works of art that fill us with glee.
Every hero has their place.
They are big, they are small, outgoing or shy. Some have strong bodies and some have strong minds.
Heroes come in all different kinds. What connects them is how they all try. You can be a hero, we can tell you how. Find the things that you like to do. Do these things to help others when you can. Be determined and see these things through.
We need every kind of hero there is to help each other stand tall.
So keep that in mind and maybe we'll find a hero inside us all.
Thank you all for joining us today for Anthem Heroes of Hillingdon. We are almost ready to perform the Hillingdon Anthem, but first, introducing to accompany the choirs, our secret special guests and some of London's own heroes of the arts, the Bollywood Brass Band. Okay, yep, you can all start coming down now, yep. Now we are going to welcome back all of our choirs, and all together we are going to perform the Hillingdon Anthem on the stage. So let's have a big round of applause for all of our choirs. Take it away. Let's bow again. 1, 2, 3, bow. And again, 1, 2. One more time for the Bollywood Brass Band. And for all of our wonderful teachers and parents and the choirs. Okay, my boss's boss from the Hillingdon Music Hub is going to come and do a speech. There you go.
Thank you. It's going to be very short, but mainly to thank all of you for coming tonight and supporting all of these extremely talented people on the stage, whatever stage they're at in their musical journey. We're very proud to do this event every year, and we're very grateful also to Brunel, who very generously host it for us, and for all of those that are involved. So thank you to the schools, thank you particularly to the teachers who spend a lot of time preparing for this, and thank you to all of our professionals and composers and all of the people who thought about Hillingdon and found something to write about that was musical. If you're interested in your child doing more singing, and they're not already in our Young Singers that happens on Saturday mornings, there's some details in the programme for how you can get involved. One big, huge thanks that I need to give to the organiser of the event, which is Megan Clifton, who's been here conducting and narrating for everybody. And please, could you give one last huge round of applause to all of your children and the Bollywood Brass Band and performers.
You're all fabulous. You're brilliant.